Okay, this next set or sansik is Hak Bong. Hak Bong means crane's wing, and it's a rising motion. So you could think of it, Bong Sao is typically this way, and this, you could look at this as a Bong Sao that goes upward, or we've already covered the Lan Sao in the Subchi Choi set. You could think of it as a Lan Sao that goes upward. Either way, but it's this motion this way is a Hak Bong. And so in Kulo Wing Chun, that Bong Sao can have three different energies. It can be a Jung Bong going forward, it can be a Gat Bong that comes back, and it can be a Hak Bong that goes upward. So the classic way I first learned this set was one arm at a time, where you pivoted with that upward punch, Hak Bong, and a straight strike. Pivot, pivot, strike. Pivot, pivot, strike. And then we added a step. Pivot, pivot, strike. Pivot, pivot, strike. Pivot, pivot, strike. Pivot, pivot, strike. And this was supposed to teach you where my hand is engaged and then something's coming through this opening, and it's kind of like an oh shit move, where I turn and I close off that opening. My hands are forward, and it's a sudden turn to do the Hak Bong. And the punch is just a convenient way to have the hand out there. It's not that I would do an uppercut and then go right to a Hak Bong. It's just having that arm out there to learn that quick turn and then immediately striking. So I've lifted the guy's arm and then I've hit him, right? Now, the next stage of that you'll see them do is you put those two together. So I'm pivoting with my Hak Bong and I'm punching up the center. And they'll put, and it's not exactly at the same time, it's still like a one and. So there's two pieces there, and then a lot of times they'll strike out again. So it'll look like this. That's what you'll see in Kulo Wing Chun a lot. And eventually, sometimes you'll see them do it this way. And then eventually you just leave out that little third beat and you just flow through it. And the idea is you do multiple beats, because it's like I've deflected and I've hit, and I deflect and I hit again. Now, this was kind of designed to fight against kind of the styles that Wing Chun was facing back in the day, which is a little different than the boxing kind of styles we face now. So you can imagine if you're facing somebody that's doing Chuli Foot or Hung Gar or something with these long extended punches, this kind of thing, this motion was meant to get under that punch and hit. And if I can get my friend Adrian here, will show. So if he's just swinging this long extended punch, right, like a typical Chuli Foot, it's way out here. The idea with this is it's coming at me, I'm blocked upward, and I'm really not close enough to hit him. So that's why the punch would be aimed like this. It would be this kind of a thing, or right to the ulnar nerve. Boom, and then that third strike was coming out, right? Boom, bam, boom, bam. And then the idea, if he was doing the typical Chuli Foot kind of whack, whack, it's like I've stopped the first one, boom, and then I've immediately stopped the second one. But see, I'm not really in range to hit him from here. I'd have to be much closer. I'd have to be catching him almost under his elbow. And if I'm that close, he's probably not doing a long arm punch. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Now, so how do we adapt that for our two-man or for our Wing Chun boxing? My thought with the Wing Chun boxing is it's coming upward, right? I'm shielding as I'm punching. So it's when we've done something, we're going to come up and hit. Boom, boom, right? I'm here. Boom, 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 boom. So now the idea is I'm using what we talked about before from the View Choice set to generate power off the lead leg, and I'm generating power into this motion, upward. And as I'm doing so, then this one kicks in, and I got this punch. So I'm doing, just like imagine somebody in close boxing, and we're mixing it up, and I'm going to do boom, boom, boom. But this lifting hand now opens the angle a little more for this strike to come in, and I get a little more oomph because I've got this more of a twist. My other arm is just adding to my momentum. And the third point is I'm covering my head. I'm not just doing this, I'm covering my head as I hit. Boom, boom. So when I do this in Wing Chun boxing, it looks more like this. I'm covering, and then there's my 1, 2. And I might do a 3 count. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Might be moving around. Boom, boom. And I'm thinking of getting that hit in, kind of clearing his arms out of the way to make an opening, or just covering my head. And that's my Hak Bong in Wing Chun boxing. Okay, now kind of show that kind of from a two-man application. Again, the idea is we're here, we fixed it up, and I'm kind of, he's got his hands on top of me, I'm in close. So see how we're crossed? I'm lifting up to make an opening, and I'm punching through. That would be right there. Boom. Boom. But he's using the pad. That's good. Fix it up. Now I'm ripping it through. Boom. See, I got to lift his arm to make enough of an opening for that to go through. That's Hak Bong. So if I'm just doing it as a practice, I'm going to have the pads, I can be here in a lower position, and I'm just coming up. And if nothing else, I'm learning to cover my head as I hit, rather than just doing this, leaving my head exposed, covering my head. Okay, mixing it up, and I'm right there. Right there. Boom. And that's how I see Hak Bong in Wing Chun boxing. Okay, Hak Bong on the dummy. Hak Bong is not an easy set to do on the dummy, either the classical version or our Wing Chun boxing version. Two ways we used to do it. For the first version of the Hak Bong I showed you was this is in place of the uppercut. Boom. And then as I pivot back, I kind of glance off of this arm to do the Hak Bong, and I strike straight. So it looks like this. So that was one version. The other version of the Hak Bong, again, I can't get under the arms very well because the dummy arms are set so low, where this is supposed to be a rising block against something at this level. But I can start low, and I'm coming up, I glance through, and then I replace the uppercut punch with this rising palm strike, like a toksao. So it looks more like this. But as you can see, the classical set's not a real satisfying way to do them on the dummy, even though you can still kind of practice them on the dummy. Boxing perspective too, this is kind of low, but I'm coming down, and then I can practice coming up under this arm and hitting. So I can kind of work my dummy, and then I'm at a lower level, guy's on top of me, boom, and I hit. So I can practice coming up against that arm, that rising, to kind of create that opening, even though the dummy's not going to move for me like a person would. And that's my basic Hak Bong on the dummy.